Um, awesome. Well, okay, let's dive into, because I really want to hear about how things are going. Um, that so let's just start out. You guys are having probably the most unique learn experience that we've ever had. Probably like as most of the world is having very unique experiences right now. Um, but let's go back to like that first day, that maybe even just the first week. And what was it like, walking into the building that first day, meeting the rest of the staff, meeting the rest of your cohort? How are you feeling? What things stuck out to you on those first few days? Chief, why don't you
Yeah, I'll
start?
start. Um, I remember first day walking in, it wasn't as bad. So because of the Kickstart weekend for me personally, that kind of like already formed some like friendship of like people that you paired program with. So it's like, oh, you have those little tiny connections. So it's like you're not walking into a brand new open environment essentially. So that was kind of cool, but it was really quiet. I remember how quiet it was. Like people were kind of like tiptoeing around the room, kind of quiet. And it was just kind of insane. Like, oh no, like this is going to be so weird and awkward. And it was just like those thoughts run through your head. And it's like the first day, after completing the first day, I remember my head just being like, whoa, like it seriously worked today. And then after that first week, it was like, all right, my brain really, really worked. Like you kind of have that like it's a new feeling if you haven't had the feeling of like studying a lot and just learning a bunch, then it's just like it goes numb almost, but in a good way of like it's growing. But I remember the end of the first week, it was, oh my, am I gonna be able to do this kind of feeling? But it was just like, but like this is so great at the same time. Like I know I'm learning so much.
Andy,
Yeah.
I see you nodding.
Yeah, yeah, I definitely I feel him on that quite a bit. It was so I didn't do the jump start. I didn't have the opportunity to do that. When I first signed up for Learn, it was like 2 days later was when the cohort started. So it was like, oh wow, okay, gotta go. So I didn't have that. So I spent a lot of time like doing some basic fundamentals prior to it. But to speak to that, like the first day walking in, I was super nervous, extremely nervous. Like I don't know why I was so nervous. Honestly, looking back on it, I was like, oh, this is gonna be fine. But the end of the first day, I'd say like when I first went into it, the first couple hours, I was like, oh no, did I make a mistake? Oh geez, I'm not smart enough. Oh man. But by the end of first day, maybe even second day, I felt like, oh, these are my people. Like here we are. Like this is good. Like we're learning something now. Like it's extremely fast paced, which was made me really hesitant at times. I was like, oh geez, maybe I'm not getting this. And then I kind of took a poll of the people that I knew in the room. And I was like, are you having a hard time? And they're like, yeah, this is tough. I'm like, okay, good. I'm not just stupid. Good, 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 good. Excellent. This is how it's supposed to be. And then it just over time, it kind of got a little bit easier. So by the time it was the end of the first week, it was like, just like she said, it was like, oh man, I'm using the number one muscle a lot and it feels worked. Absolutely. So yeah, at first it was like, did I make a mistake? And then it was like, I have definitely not made a mistake. This is actually really good for me. It was great. So
Yeah,
yeah, I definitely second him.
I think that first week, not only are you like learning new things that you haven't done, but you're also, most of us have not been in a learning environment where you're in a classroom for 8 hours a day. That's that's a different experience than, we haven't done that since grade school, which
Exactly.
a few of us have been out for a little bit. So.
I was homeschooled my entire life.
Oh my
So
gosh.
for me, it
Yeah.
was like classroom, what? People, what? Like it was all around a weird thing. Obviously, being my age now, I'd worked with people. So of course I know what it's
Sure.
like to work in a room with people. But for me, it was like, oh, okay, how do I take notes? Got it.
Right.
So it
You
was a
do.
really strange one.
You have to learn all those things again and like get your brain back into, okay, this is because it's a boot camp, because it happens so quickly, you have to like get those habits and build those up pretty quick. Yeah, Rudy, do you have anything to add?
Yeah, I think I definitely echo what Chi and Andy said. I think for me as well, the surroundings really played a lot for me. Felt like, like you're in this kind of industrial design area, like classroom. We're in Union Co-work, kind of in downtown San Diego, like beautiful, gorgeous windows, Mac workstations everywhere. You have kombucha on tap. You have unlimited coffee. You really feel like you landed at Facebook or like Google or something like that. So like Chelsea, you were saying, it is 8 hours a day, but it's a super comfortable environment. There's a couch. There's, plenty of space to walk around, plenty of space to get lunch. So you really feel like from day one, you really feel like you're a pretty accomplished developer, even you haven't written your first line of code yet. Really, we're getting that hybridized experience, but it's a really beautiful kind of learning environment that Learn has in San Diego.
Cool. So I don't know if I probably haven't told you guys this story, but when we first started getting our classrooms set up, that we actually hired theater set designers to come in and help us with the space. And we sat down and talked to them about like how we wanted it to feel. And we're like, we want it to feel like they're not going to leave from the classroom is going to feel so much like it's going to feel when they're working in a dev environment. So we need to figure out how to make a classroom feel that way. And they helped us a lot with the different elements of that. But I always thought that it was a really fun experience to kind of go through to get that.
Yeah, it worked. It's a beautiful environment.
For sure it worked.